What does Shiva's half-male, half-female form mean? In chapter 24 of Sripada Srivallabha Charitamrutam, hidden meanings of Shiva's trident, damaru, kundalini, chakras and the Ardhanārīswara principle are revealed. Listen as Sripada explains how masculine and feminine powers unite in creation and how true yoga awakens this inner balance. Chapter 24. Explanation of the Ardhanārīswara-Tattwa. Afterwards, I asked Sri Dharma Gupta to explain the inner meaning of the various ornaments and weapons of Shiva. Dharma Gupta narrated. Shankar Bhatt, a cord and a hook are the main weapons of Ganpati. A disc is the principal weapon of Vishnu. A trident is the important weapon of Shiva. The trident has 3 sharp prongs. They are in the form of flames of fire. All the 3 prongs are joined together at the bottom to become a single handle for the trident. Those 3 prongs indicate Sattva, Rajas and Tamas gunas. In fact, their unity is beyond the 3 attributes. The trident indicates this inner meaning. Besides, breath flows through the ājnā and pingala nerves and reaches the point between the eyebrows in the head. The point where the 3 nerves, ājnā, pingala and sushumna meet is called the Triveni Sangamam. This is the center of Brahma Janana. This is the inner meaning of the trident. Shiva has an ornament called nāgābharana. When the kundalini power rises up, one gets the 8 siddhis. Shiva is called nāgābharana too. Indicate the kundalini, which is in the shape of a serpent. Shiva is also named as Isvara. All the great siddhis are dangerous just like serpents. Since he keeps them under his control and utilizes them for the welfare of the world, Shiva also got the name of Isvara. The damaru is tied to the trident of Shiva. The sky has the quality of sound. The vibrations of sound travel in the sky. Vibrations emerge when we chant or hear the mantra japa. Those vibrations cause sounds, resembling the sounds from the damaru of Lord Shiva in our ears. Repeated recitation of mantra gives happiness to a yogi. In that ineffable joy, he dances. To indicate this, Parameshwara holds a damaru. The Ajna chakra located in the middle of the eyebrows is the center of all knowledge. A wise man can acquire supernatural vision when this chakra unfolds in him. A yogi will be able to understand the past, present, and future only through this chakra. This Ajna chakra is the 3rd eye of Parameshwara. If this knowledge eye unfolds, it will become possible to overcome Cupid, the deity of sensual desires. It is said that Shiva resides in a burial ground. When all his desires are burnt to ashes by the fire of yoga, a yogi will experience a state of nirvana, bringing forth profound peace. Knowledge or wisdom is compared with the white color. That is vibhuti. A person gets into pure wisdom when his thoughts and desires are extinguished. He gains happiness from it. The purification through wisdom takes place in 4 stages. They are the natural, supernatural, spiritual and mental planes. To indicate this, devotees of Shiva wear 4 lines of holy ash on their forehead. There is a supreme medicine called Shilajit, which looks like a jelly. Those who eat it will remain eternally young. During ancient times, a sage called Shilda was living by eating stones. He later took birth as Nandiswara. Shri Krishna was born in the Rohini star in Vrishbha Rashi. The star Arudra is the place of Rudra. Mithuna Rashi signifies the phenomenon of Ardhanārīswara. Vrishbha Rashi appears prior to Mithuna Rashi in the sky. That Vrishbha is Nandiswara. Nandi shows the form of Dharma. Shiva burnt Manmadha, who belonged to the lower nature and who was a personification of lust. Then Manmadha became formless and associated with the sacred marital dharma of the higher nature. That was the reason why Krishna took to discipleship under sage Upamanyu and worshipped Shiva very sincerely. And with the grace of Shiva, Krishna had a son named Pradyumna through Rukmini. This Pradyumna was called Manmadha of the lower nature in his previous birth. Vrishbha Rashi is the house of both Manmadha and Kama. All righteous desires belong to the higher nature. To make it known that it is in accordance with the dharma to satisfy those righteous desires, a ritual known as Vrishotsarjana is performed. The frightful tantric siddhis and powers are as dangerous as the tigers. Shiva kept those tantric siddhis and powers under his control. The tiger is the vehicle for Shakti, as a sign that he kept Shakti under control. As his consort, Shiva wears the skin of a tiger. The sacred river Ganges, who dwells in Shiva's hair braids, signifies Pure Brahma Janana, the perennial flow of intelligence and the attainment of immortality. The crescent moon on Shiva's head signifies the great blissful, joyous and profound tranquility resulting from the eternal graciousness. Therefore, the nature of the Chandrakladhara is the source for attainment of immortality and a state of ineffable happiness. The inner meaning of the Ardhanārīswara-Tattwa is that the life force, which enables people to live, is divided into two. It remains as ovum in the uterus of a female and as sperm in a male, and by the combination of those two, a living creature is produced. However, in creation, an earthworm contains both mother and father constituents within a single body. In both men and women, the natures of females and males coexist. It must be noted that on the right side of the body masculine power dwells and on the left, feminine power dwells. It should be recognized that the power in the form of breath that circulates on the right side is Pingala Nadi, and the power that circulates on the left side is Ājnā Nadi. During pranayam, when breath is inhaled from the right side, heat is generated in the body. Therefore, it is called Surya Nadi. When breath is inhaled from the left side, the body cools down. Therefore, it is called Chandranadi in the body of Kala Purusha. The 6 months that give heat, extending from Mesha Rashi to Tula Rashi in the zodiac, are regarded as the Surya Nadi. The other 6 months, from Asvayuja to Falguna, are considered to be the Chandranadi. We should understand that by the motion of the sun and the moon, the full moon and new moon phases are formed. Through breathing practices, a yogi can achieve in his body all that exists in the wheel of time. He can get the knowledge of time, which enables him to be aware of the past, present and future. This wheel of time is to be recognized as Ardhanārīswara-Tattva and as an inseparable couple. Night and day, full moon and new moon and all such things appear in succession one after the other. One is the basis for the other. There can be no day without night and vice versa. Ardhanārīswara, as the mother and the father, is the cause for the emergence of this infinite creation. The inner meaning of calling Shiva a destroyer is that he is the basis for the old creation to exist and the new creation to come into existence. Changes in creation come about naturally. The advent of a new creation, its continuance for some time, and again its annihilation, are inescapable. In order to attain all the astras, sastras and mantras mentioned in the Ardhavana Veda, one should have the grace of Isnarudra, who is the lord of all the faculties of astras and sastras. Thus concluded Sri Dharma Gupta. I asked Sri Dharma Gupta to explain in detail about the close connection between the star Arudra and Shiva Parvati. Then he again started narrating. Rudra appears as a hunter holding a bow and chasing a running deer. This figure is visible in the Arudra star in the sky. He looks like a hunter. The effect of the movement of planets. The image of Rudra in the form of a hunter can be seen in the constellation that exists at a corner between the zodiac houses of Gemini and Cancer. When malefic planets like Saturn, Mars or Rahul move near this constellation, wars that spread across the entire globe and massive devastations take place. Battles between Devas and demons and the Mahabharata war took place during such planetary movements. Kala Samhara Murti, the dreadful Rudra who holds a bow, was described in the Vedas as a form of Manu. The weapon of that Rudra is not the trident, only the bow is his weapon. In the month of Magha, the 14th moon phase that comes before the new moon is called Mahashivratri. The 14th moon phase that comes before every month's new moon is named Masa Shivratri. Worship of Shiva during Sani Pradosha time results in the removal of malefic influence of Saturn. When Mahashivratri occurs on a Tuesday, it is considered very important. If the 13th moon phase occurs on a Saturday, then it is called Sani Trayodshi. To remove different types of afflictions caused by Saturn, who brings forth the consequences of fate, Shiva should be worshipped and gingerly seeds should be donated on Sani Trayodshi. Shiva is the lord of Saturn. So, if Shiva is worshipped with gingerly all, then the afflictions from Saturn are removed. If Shiva is worshipped during dusk on Saturdays, all evils from karma will get annulled and peace and comfort will be obtained because Shiva is the lord of Saturn. Saturn causes us to experience the consequences of karma. Shiva causes destruction. Every person should worship Shiva during Sani Pradosha time. This worship reduces all heinous sins arising from inauspicious actions into ashes and purifies the body, mind, intellect, ego, heart and soul through fresh divine effulgent, auspicious vibrations and bestows a happy new life. In order to obtain all these supreme achievements, one should worship Shiva during the Sani Pradosha time. By following the above procedure, the fury of Saturn will be abated. During the night hours of each Saturday, all the negative forces that preside over the sins of that living being, which are the forces of misfortune and destruction that remain in an invisible thick, black color form, take residence in Mahakali, the form of Shakti of Mahakala. The next day, on Sunday, at the time of Sunrise, on account of the grace of that Maha Shakti dwelling at the central region of the cosmic sun, a new life will commence for the spiritual aspirant. Heats of inauspicious sins are burnt in the fire of yoga of Sri Parameshwara Shiva in the form of 5 elements. The 5 elements are Shiva's forms. The earthly nature is present in our body in Muladhara. As a sign of this, spiritual aspirants worship the Parthiva Linga. Swadhisthana relates to the nature of water. Jala Linga represents this center. Manipurka relates to the nature of fire. Jwala Linga represents this center. This is also called Hiranyastambha. Anahata in the heart is the seat for the airy nature. Vayu Linga is the symbol of this element of air. Vishuddhi in the throat is the seat of sky and is called Chidambara Linga. This Chidambara Linga, which is called Akasha Linga, has no shape at all. The adoration, worship and darshan of these Shiva Lingas of the 5 elemental forces is highly fruitful. In Chidambara Kshetra, that which lies hidden behind a curtain is called the Chidambara Rahasya. Nothing is seen when the curtain is lifted. The pure sky is the Atma Linga of Shiva. The heart is the seat of spirit and, therefore, the soul dwells in the sky. In fact, the sky has no form at all. Yogis who concentrate their mind and meditate with a single pointed look upon their real self will have the firmament of their heart opened up. The entire creation, the whole universe, stars, planets, and all others will appear in their heart. Runa means sin. Aruna means sinless. Parameshwara resides in the heart of the sky. Parameshwara exists in Arunachala in the forms of Arunachaleswara, the Arunachala mountain, and in the form of a Mahasiddh. His darshan neutralize all sins. The same Arunachaleswara has now incarnated in the human form in Pritikapuram as Sripada Srivallabha. He is now brilliantly shining in divine glory in Kurungadda with the intention to liberate us. Kurungadda equals the Arunachala mountain. Arunachaleswara in the form of Ardhanārīswara is none other than Sripada Srivallabha. The great Siddh in Arunachala is also the guise of this sage only. Just as the mountain in Arunachala is the image of Shiva, this Kurungadda also is the form of Srivallabha. Just as the forces of Shiva are in Arunachala Shiva Linga, the forces of Shiva are in the form of Sripada Srivallabha. Seeing Parameshwara in the form of Mahasiddh in Arunachala is very difficult, but this Mahasiddh form in the form of Sripada Srivallabha easily accessible. Thus concluded Sri Dharma Gupta. I requested Sri Dharma Gupta, Sir, I heard that Sripada is the combined form of Sri Venkateshwar Swami along with Sri Padmavati Devi. But you affirmed that he is the form of Shiva-Shakti. You are saying that it is highly meritorious to worship Shiva during Sani Pradosha time. All this is very confusing to me. Kindly explain. For that Sri Dharma Gupta replied smilingly, Sir, the divine nature of Sripada Vallabha cannot be comprehended even by the 7 rishis. Even then, I will try to explain this to you to the extent of my abilities. Lord Sri Venkateshwar has been in existence since Krita Yuga. He gave boons to Dashratha. Since he said that he would be born as Sri Rama, he can also be worshipped as Sri Rama, the son of Kausalya. Sri Venkateshwar Swami was worshipped for some time as Bala Tripura Sundari, a form of Shakti. After some time, he was worshipped in the form of Shiva for some days. Some people worshipped him as Subramanya Swami. After that, on the initiative of His Holiness Sri Ramanuj, he is now being worshipped by the Vaishnavites as Lord Mahavishnu. Buddhists regard him as the Great Sunya. He is really Lord Datta. He is highly tactful in conducting the drama of illusion. He demonstrates his sportive plays to those spiritual Pursuers who call him, regardless of how they call him, by responding to their calls and saving them, and thereby proving that he is the God. He is the same one who is now giving his presence to the world as Sripada Srivallabha. On the left side of Sripada's body Shakti moves around, and on the right side Shiva moves around. Therefore, he is the personification of Shiva-Shakti. Mother Padmavati adorns his heart. The heart is the symbol of mercy.